We are connecting, people. We're going live with this debate. This is probably going to be really good. Stand by. I don't think we're live yet. Just putting my video on Twitter here. And then we're gonna get to the debate. What's up, Gary? So I got a comment here. So the video's running. I'm not getting the picture though. So we're going to watch the rest of this debate between Bart Kay and Michelle Lowe. This happened. It was pretty good. It's sort of good. Okay, I've got to go navigate to the video, which is only on Bart's channel. Well, Michelle Lowe might have it sometime. Yeah, it wouldn't be up yet, though. So I wasn't up on this debate. I didn't know it was happening today. And so this is not what I was planning to do today. I had other things going on. Wanted to follow up on the videos I had been making. No, I wasn't planning on spending the day fapping. But I had another video. A whole bunch of stuff. I have too many ideas for videos. Things going on right now. And then Joe Rogan pops up again. I just don't have the time for all this. But there's other videos coming. I got so much good stuff to say. Might be wondering what I'm doing here. Bart Kay. Yep. Just like I was making my thumbnail for this video, Bart Kay made a thumbnail, or had it already. He might have made it in advance. Michelle Lowe schooled. Almost 2 hours long. So that'll be it. Let's check it out.
Like that, we've all got our teeth in. We've all had a good night's sleep. Those of us that have just had one of those, except for I woke up at 6:30, so that was not really the plan. But there you go. Let me just close this one down so that it stops making noise at us. Shh, shush, 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 shush. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Well, boys and girls, we've been looking forward to this one since we decided that it was going to happen several weeks ago. The suggestion from Michelle was to talk about a suite of very interesting papers that were published in the Annals of Internal Medicine very recently. One's an editorial, one's...
So I'm seeing the first comments here. By the way, how is the audio and video here on my video? Want to make sure everything's fine. That's the way it goes. Usually doesn't go fine. So these first comments, no, Michelle Lowe hasn't even said anything yet. There's already a comment in here ridiculing her, having nothing to do with the topics. Just something about a broom. And that's what you get from most of these people. That's why I sort of gave up on them. Oh, but I wanted to mention some stuff I didn't mention in my 40-minute video I just made. Yeah, I got kind of tired of him. I was making the follow-up videos after my debate with him. And I'd like to let my audience know that I was never finished with my follow-up videos. I just thought it was just too much stuff. I didn't want to bore people, didn't want to burn them out. But now I'm going to finish that series I was making. You know, the 6-part series, putting Bart in his place. I'm going to finish that up soon. I saved some of the best stuff for last. Been sitting on it for the last 7 months. So let's see how this starts. Then we're going to jump ahead past a lot of boring stuff. Then get to the last few minutes.
A thing about people's attitudes towards various food choices. One is a recommendation put together by a sort of RDI type board of people on the basis of what's in these other 4 papers, and the other 4 papers are epidemiological looks at associations between various disease processes and the consumption of both red and processed meat. I've been quite clear all week that I have no idea what Michelle wants to say, where she wants to go, and that's fine. So
yes, he does. They discussed this beforehand. Oh, I saw a clip of Bart saying she wants to discuss the eating and not eating of meat.
I thought I'd do a throw over to her, and she can give us her opening statement, tell us where she wants to go with the discussion, what her take on things are, and then we'll know where we're going. So, Michelle, all yours.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Okay, so the reason why I have wanted to debate Bart for quite some time is because Bart makes some interesting, let's say.
So this comment here is up on the screen. In the pizza avatar. Where is that? Gee. Oh, and here's someone else saying, Michelle Lowe, you've got more balls than Vegan Gains. Nope. Vegan Gains knows that he should not debate Bart because Vegan Gains has a huge following. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth giving him that attention. And the other comment on the video here She's very brave to stream live with him. I got some of that too. If that's the case, then I was braver. Yeah, I don't have any scientific formal education. Also, I'm a bad debater, bad communicator, and social misfit. So that was super brave, but not so with her. She knows this stuff. Backwards, forwards.
Interesting comments on various streams. So I took this opportunity. It was our good friend Vane who said that Bart had perhaps changed his mind a little and was now in agreement that we might get together and do this discussion. So the reason why I suggested the broad topic of meat and health was because I thought it would be of interest to Bart's supporters and my audience. So it was a very broad scope of whatever we talk about today. So I don't want to limit the discussion just to the papers that were published in the Annals of Internal Medicine on the 1st of October. But I thought, well, that was very new research. It was somewhat controversial. Some vegan channels, including myself, had made some videos about them. I've made several videos about those papers and the potential recommendations that they had from those papers. And some carnivore channels like Sean Baker's made videos.
I missed a few seconds. Is anything going on? This sounds boring. Maybe it's because I missed something. But I see some comments here. Very strange comments. Major props to Michelle, and she has not even started yet. I didn't get props. That was... you know. So people saying, what? Someone saying, this is gonna be good. It isn't so far. Pumped for this? Why? Can't wait. Why? Oh yeah, someone said it's their favorite content, these debates. Why? Why do people want to see Bart debate so bad? Why? What do they get out of it? Let me scroll back. Oh, yeah. No, forget it.
Let's move forward. Who Nutri-Rex were.
Listen up. The soap commercial. You shower with, you
probably I get this one all the time.
Soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't.
They don't need to.
How can you weekly recommend that people continue to consume red and processed meat? So the papers, the collection of papers only concern themselves with red and processed meat, but I'm happy to take the discussion beyond that if you would like later. Yeah, so the clinical guidelines were that they were weekly recommending to the public to carry on eating meat as they are, which kind of flies in the face a little with some health organisations who've said you need to cut down your consumption of red and processed meat, particularly processed meat, because they are carcinogenic. So,
So to Michelle Lowe, I'm wondering if she plans on looking at these comments from Bart's viewers. She probably knows what to expect, but I recommend not doing that. Yeah, why does Michelle want to do this? It's just abuse. I just don't know.
Right, so that was their clinical recommendations. Now, one of the videos I made, actually I think I made 2 videos on this, that they put some risk differences in a table, which was very, very telling to me. That they said that heart disease.
Someone in the comments saying, relax, yo. She is falling flat. Why do they care either way? What? Yeah, I don't even understand most of these comments.
Mortality, I think it was. So that's 0.4% of the population of any country.
I'm gonna pick up the speed of this. I'm just really getting bored.
If they wouldn't die. This is what NutriRex is saying, and remember, NutriRex are a pro-meat organisation. They're saying that 0.4% of any population would not die of a heart disease-related condition if they reduce their servings of red or processed meat by 3, every week. Those were their recommendations based on a paper that systematically reviewed a series of randomized control trials, which is nonsense. The entire paper, the methodology of that paper is nonsense. How these things have got published. I mean, that was the comment I made in one of my videos. How have these papers been published? What are the annals of internal medicine reviewers thinking by publishing this? Why? They're so weak. However, the point I made, which I think is pertinent, and something that perhaps is worthy of discussion, is that if you look at 4 in 1,000 on a population level, it becomes thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So I worked it out, and if my maths is correct, it's 26,500 people from the UK, taking the UK population of 66,400,000 as of the Office of National Statistics 2018. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less now. So that's 26,500 people. According to NutriRex, a pro-meat organisation would not die of a heart disease-related condition if they reduced their red or processed meat consumption by 3 servings per week. So it leads me into the lion's den on a carnivore channel to say, how can carnivores, and this is why I've been making videos for the last year on carnivores, because right, look, I'm an ethical vegan. I'm a vegan for ethical reasons. We're not here to talk about the ethics of slaughter or anything like that today. I'm leaving that to one side completely. I want to focus on the health. So let me make that clear. So I'm an ethical vegan. I don't care what people eat, right? I would like people to go vegan, or if they don't want to go vegan, to reduce their meat consumption for ethical reasons, right? I'm not promoting health on my channel, right? My diet is not optimal. But I drink this crap, Pepsi Max, full of aspartame. So I'm not promoting any health at all, right? People mistake me for some kind of health channel, and I'm not. I never have been, and I never will be a health channel. There are channels out there who know much more about nutrition and health and live that diet, live that lifestyle than I do, right? So that's me, cards on the table. I'm a vegan for ethical reasons. However, I also am a researcher. I'm an academic. For those that don't know me, I am an academic. I hold an academic position in a UK university. And as a researcher, I'm able to look at papers, even if they're not in my area of expertise, and understand the statistics.
I think what we're watching here is her opening statement. Yeah. I should mention that if you're going to be a vegan and be an outspoken one, then you should be healthy, and you should eat healthy.
Which is why I'm very confused and a little bit shocked, to be honest, why the editor and the reviewers of the Annals of Internal Medicine have...
And I don't know what that drink was, but yeah, some kind of drink, and probably has a lot of sugar in it, most likely. And why does she drink that? Probably because she doesn't eat enough fruit, which most vegans do not eat nearly enough fruit. The amount I recommend.
Published such nonsense, methodologically extremely poor. And yeah, we can, I think we may agree on that the papers, if you've read them, are nonsense. They're nonsense, aren't they? But
I would say they have their place, but we can get to that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, once something is published, as yourself, Bart, you know this, once something is published, then it is open and forever there in the public domain, open to scrutiny. So I'm glad that both sides of this argument, the vegans and the carnivores and those in the middle, like Midlife Crisis, have commented on them. So yeah, maybe they will in time have their place. Mm-hmm. But whilst that research is new, it is open to scrutiny, and it may well influence future research, which is a good thing, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the concern for me, when this kind of hit, I don't know whether it hit New Zealand, but it hit the UK press, saying, oh, meat is good. I mean, you know what media's like. They've misrepresented the stats. They look at the headlines.
Yeah, in exactly the same way they've been doing for years and years while they've been saying meat is bad.
Exactly. The media, right, what researchers do, for anybody who doesn't know.
For anyone who doesn't know, meat is bad, and it's because it's meat. It's pretty simple. It doesn't need a debate. Meat is not even food. It's secondhand food. Oh, someone in one of Bart's followers, of Bart's militia, Bart's army, meat militia. Yeah. By the way, I made up that that title that he uses, and I'll be making a video about that soon. Should be fun.
What a journal will do is put out a press release, and then it's up to the press to take what they can from the actual research. And because researchers are not academics, I mean, not journalists. Journalists are not academics. You know, I've spoken to journalists about my own research, and my research is non-controversial, and it's difficult to misquote. But I'm very, very cautious about speaking to journalists because they misrepresent so many things. Mm-hmm. So the UK media, and I'm sure it is international as well, saying that you can just carry on eating meat because these guys say you can. Well, these guys have no authority to say anything, and their research was so poor and so methodologically flawed. And every time I look at them, I see something else. I see another thing that's wrong with them. But yeah, they have their place. They have their place.
So it's a lot of words for little information. Is anybody getting bored? Because, I know people want to see this, but it's kind of boring. I'm going to read some of my comments coming in. I want to see what people think so far. I'll never forget your and Bart's debate, Gary. Yep, that's what I was saying in my last video an hour ago, that no one could forget it. So, couldn't have been too bad. At least it was entertaining. Let's see, another comment. Gotta go back and watch. It's not fitting the screen. Okay. Gotta go back and watch your live stream, your first live stream on the debate. I was just getting off work when you started it. Yeah. Another comment here. Someone I don't know. Yeah, Bart's chat was horrible. They couldn't follow the things being said on the screen. Michelle Lowe, better than Bart Kay. Pepsi Max is sugar-free, just a lot of chemicals. Well, then where's the taste? Right, why would she drink a bunch of chemicals? What's it for? Okay, bell peppers suck? Please don't. Don't what? Well, they're perfectly fine. They're just water and fiber and nutrients. Okay. All bell peppers. Someone said no. Okay, back to the debate.
So, this is where we are. This is what the research, the most recent research on meat and health has said. Now, yeah. So I would like to discuss.
Okay, yeah, I think that, I think it's pretty clear, Michelle. I think you've laid out your stall there. So forgive me if I've got anything wrong here. What you seem to be suggesting to us is that on the basis of some of the existing epidemiology, you would project that if the entire UK population, presumably excluding the EU nationals that'll be kicked out soon, are to eat 3 less servings of meat a week, whatever 3 less servings is,
exactly,
then we could expect there to be how many fewer incidences of heart disease, did you say?
From the Nutrirex figures. I mean, can we share a screen? Can we get the table up on the screen?
Yeah, just remind me which paper it is, Michelle.
Skipping ahead.
Guideline. Let me just make that bigger, and then I'll make it visible.
Skipping. Skipping.
Was this whole idea?
Go on.
The information that's.
Now, the epidemiological research that they included was not of prospective cohort studies that are available. Their systematic review, inclusion and exclusion criteria clearly excluded quite a number of pieces of research. So that's one of the methodological problems with those reviews of the epidemiological research. A wider set of epidemiological research would have changed the results, because what they did was favoured the randomised control trials as being more important, for the want of a better word, than the epidemiology. So those clinical guidelines are based on the full combination, including randomized control trials.
Okay.
But
And
let me finish.
Sure.
The randomized control trial paper was the weakest one of the lot, in my view, methodologically. So my point is that if they're making these recommendations, and the media and health organizations, who are supposedly neutral, take these guidelines as the most up-to-date research, they are misleading the public. So anybody who's made any form of inference from those papers needs to be extremely clear, as I have done multiple times in my videos, that the entire statistical data set and the accumulation of the findings that have accumulated into these figures are not reliable in any way.
Pause. Maybe she's saying what I have said. That is, see what these meat people are doing, meat militia. They want to say this new science, that all the stuff that's pro-meat out there, they're saying that this is the truth. They got it right now. So they're basically saying that today's science is the truth and yesterday's science is not. But that's not scientific. Why do you say that? Prove it. Why can't it be that today's science, or what you call the science, that it's today's science that is biased, is propaganda. But they're saying that about yesterday's science. Well, so again, we're just at a standstill again. It's much more likely that today's science is the junk, because it's clearly a backlash to the growing trend of people reducing their meat consumption. This is typical stuff. And it's all junk. They even both agree that most of that stuff is junk.
Therefore, what
I think that's coming up soon.
we as researchers and scientists need to do is inform the public of the terrible nature of this research that's being considered a recommendation. Now, I would have said the same about this research if it was, I don't know, a set of systematic reviews about some form of plant or some form of plant-based diet. I'd say exactly the same, that the research is incredibly weak.
Have you not had plenty of opportunity to do that over the last year, though? And you know, every single time the media jumps on a story that says meat is bad, meat will give you cancer, meat will kill you, all of these things.
Yeah.
Is this research that we're talking about so any weaker than the antithetical research? Well,
well, if we take, let's say,
I think it's stronger, Michelle, because it clearly.
Here's this comment sounds interesting. Her conclusions are faulty because her premise is faulty. That's very interesting. Sounds illogical there. Sounds like circular logic. Here's someone who says she has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. And just like when Young Turks Anna was criticizing Tulsi Gabbard the other day, she admitted that she doesn't know what Tulsi's talking about. Anna just debunked herself. Man, gee, if you don't know what Michelle's talking about, maybe it's you.
Says, in and of its own disclosure statement, None of what's in here tells us anything about nothing.
That was fitting of him to say, because I was just going to say, I also have no idea what she's talking about. Yeah, what is she getting at? I don't know. I may have missed something, though.
Exactly.
Because I'm bored.
And that's actually the first
Exactly.
that's the first truthful statement I've heard coming out of academia regarding nutritional science pretty much ever. We do not know is the answer. We do not have the statistics, we do not have the science, we do not have the inference to say one way or the other with any degree of confidence whatsoever that meat eating is a problem.
Oh. No, what we don't know is that we have no idea if not. I might as well stop right there, because what I was about to say was wrong. Well, Bart is wrong here. Yes, we know. I covered this. There's so many bad properties to meat. We all know this stuff. And excuse me, but again, anecdotes. There's way too many anecdotes. You can. Well, I can. I can spot a meat eater. The bigger the meat eater, the more I can spot them. That reminds me of some good vegan videos coming up. Some vegan action on TV. Yeah, I want to put that up there. Good stuff. Right, I don't really want to debate this. There's no debate. If meat isn't bad, then nothing is. Yet you have a whole bunch of unhealthy people. The United States has a health crisis, and you got politicians in the debate having intense arguments over health care, the system, and how much it costs. Well, why does it cost so much?
And typically we can say there's no evidence to say it's not, except that the inference that's being laid out by these people with, in one case up to 6 million persons over 10.8 years, I think it was, which would make it, 60-something million person years of follow-up. What they're saying is, we can't find anything here, Michelle.
No.
There is nothing to talk about.
No.
In this data. So.
Right. Now, what we've got to instigate, therefore, is the hierarchy of evidence, the good old hierarchy of evidence. So, let's think about it this way. If we take the
message says, what about the long-term outcome? Well, that's anecdotal. It's not good enough. It doesn't show a direct mechanism, correlation. No, not correlation.
highest level of the hierarchy of evidence, which is...
So, just so people tell us what that is.
Systematic reviews and meta-analyses.
Of what?
Of a combination of studies of whatever is being investigated.
No. Of
Yes,
randomized crossover trials.
No.
Meta-analysis of epidemiology falls much, much lower, and you need to make that delineation.
I wasn't going to read this post here on the screen, but then I got to the end. Hey, listen to this. Look at this. One of these people in Bart's Meat Militia says, I can feel the life force nourish my body when I eat raw meat. I don't need some expert to tell me it's good. Oh boy, is that unscientific. The main thing you want to get there is I can feel how healthy it is. Oh, oh, that's sad. This person might be legitimately think that that's a good way to decide what is healthy. No. That's really bad. You cannot go with your feelings. This is what feminists do to decide that their half-truths, twisted statistics are correct because they feel it. What they see with their blurred glasses as they look out, they see things that confirm their bias, and feels. That's not what you go with. Also, if something gives you a certain feeling or reaction as soon as you eat it, or even later that day, that's a bad sign, not a good sign. Drugs make you feel good right after you take them. Back to the debate.
Very, very clear.
Right. I made a video quite some time ago talking about the problems with the hierarchy of evidence, right? And this is what I teach my students. So I was teaching my students this on Wednesday, so just a few days ago.
Okay, I'm starting to hear this now. They're talking about the hierarchy of evidence. See, science is not so simple. Okay, let's see what happens here.
That when you set out to do a systematic review or a meta-analysis, it is considered the highest level of study. The highest level, according to science.
Yeah, no, I need to correct you again, Michelle, because you're making the same error.
This is a good time to stop and read the comment I just saw. LOL, this woman. I don't know. Is it... I really don't know. I don't have this kind of background myself, so I really don't know exactly what she's talking about. How about you in my comment section? Post a comment. Do you think that she's doing something good here? Is she making sense? Because Bart is about to challenge that. Catch up on my debate, my comments here. I'm really tired today. Okay, I remember who created the term meat militia. LOL. Yep. The carnivore diet only consists of anecdotes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's where Bart stops, Michelle.
With the hierarchy of evidence, right? And this is what I teach my students. So I was teaching my students this on just a few days ago. That when you set out to do a systematic review or a meta-analysis, it is considered the highest level of study. The highest level, according to science.
Yeah, no, I need to correct you again, Michelle, because you're making the same error again.
No. You've not let me finish. Right? This might be the highest level of evidence. However,
you need to stop. You need to stop.
What about the situation where you take a set of papers, your inclusion and exclusion criteria are biased, then you are not going to get a study that tells the truth, if we can call it that, it gives the full picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we have a set of systematic reviews like the ones published in the Annals of Internal Medicine,
Mm-hmm.
then what we have is a biased set of data. Now, it doesn't matter if the data that they've drawn is in itself not credible, because even if they'd taken every single piece of research that was done, which these guys haven't, then we might be getting somewhere. But these guys haven't. Therefore, this set of papers needs to stand as a published piece of academic writing, but it deserves to be critiqued. Now, if people want to take what the media says as the gospel truth, then we've got a problem. So this brings me back to why I'm critiquing the carnivore channels, and I've been critiquing the carnivore channels for the last year.
Yeah, I have noticed this. I was wondering why she's completely focused on just these carnivores. They are the most fringe group, and the way they present their evidence is also fringe. So I wonder why she bothers. So maybe she's about to explain.
Over a year when I discovered Frank Tofano. I think Frank Tofano was the first carnivore I started to critique. And over this year, I've become quite, quite shocked in some ways that the carnivores are making videos and are encouraging people to follow a carnivore diet when there is absolutely no evidence anywhere in the literature that states that eating a fully meat diet is good. There's nothing in the research, not at the lowest level of the hierarchy of evidence. And if we can't get the lowest level of evidence, then we've got absolutely no chance whatsoever to believe anything that's higher up that hierarchy chain. So these idiots putting things out in academic press, telling people that if they eat 3 less servings of meat per week, and that's the best that they can come out with, that researchers know about, how can people on carnivore channels say that meat on its own, eating nothing but animal products, is good for health? And that's the real reason why I'm here today, is I want to hear.
And you think there is evidence for the antithesis of that? You think erroneously that there is remotely acceptable evidence anywhere in the literature that causally links the consumption of an all whole foods plant-based diet is indicated for health in human beings in the long run?
Huh? The more fruits and vegetables you eat, the more fiber, the better. And the less protein and the less fat you eat, the better. This is basic stuff.
And you're in error in that assertion. There is.
What makes you say that? Well, he's playing with words, I think. We're not saying that you need to completely eliminate meat and then somehow there's something that happens that's healthy. No one says that.
No such evidence.
Well,
so this now has always been and will always be a discipline. If you want to make an assertion about causality between one factor and another one, there is the burden of proof. If you want to make a positive claim of that kind, you need to support that with adequate evidence of that. And I'm afraid.
Oh, this commenter on the screen, I recognize him. I know that guy. He made some video. He's as young as he looks and naive. I was thinking of making a video about him. Never did. But it's sad to see that he's still here. Stupid. Oh, and he looks like you would expect Bart's naive audience to look.
Epidemiology at any level will not do it. It is not acceptable. It will not be read by this court. We will not have it. It is nonsense.
No.
From top to bottom, it is nonsense.
I'm not
epidemiology,
here.
The place of epidemiology is to tell the scientists, the actual scientists, the ones who do real experiments, to actually go and do some science and see what is connected with what else and what isn't. Which hypotheses stand and which hypotheses fall. And in fact, it is the responsibility of the scientist to try to disprove him or herself.
Yes. Of
Not
course.
to sit there with information bias and say, epidemiology and meta-analysis of epidemiology is high on the level of hierarchy of evidence, when it is not, Michelle. It is right down the bottom.
I am agreeing with you.
Okay.
I am agreeing with you.
Okay.
That the research on meat or on plant-based diets or on any form of nutritional science, all of it.
There's a commenter saying that the Inuits, Messiah? No. And meat eating for 3 million years is enough for adaptation. The problem with that is you have no idea how long they were eating meat and how much percentage of their diet was meat. It is not as much as people think. And who says, you cannot know if you're descended from someone who ate a mostly meat diet for a long time, and it's unlikely you're descended from them, because if they were eating that way, they were living in really harsh, unnatural conditions, and likely did not survive.
Has its flaws. There's no such thing as a scientific study that is perfect. All studies are flawed, right?
Yes.
However, one of the bases of science, as a scientist, you know this, is replicability.
Correct.
So if you have a long-term set of studies from different populations using different methods, whether some of that would be epidemiological, some of it would be in the form of randomized control trials, some of it would be metabolic ward studies, some of it would incorporate genetic risk factors, some wouldn't. Some of it would include the mechanistic models that seek to explain why these effects are occurring. So I think I've covered just about every level of the hierarchy there, right? Now, if you get replicable findings from different populations, from different years, from completely different parts of the world, using different scientific methodologies, and they are broadly in support of each other, then we have to, in the absence of clear and unrefutable evidence, which we can't have in nutritional science, we can't do the studies that could be done on rats, that could be done on mice. We can't do, for ethical reasons, we can't set people up on long-term randomized trials, locking them away. That's what it would take, locking them away and recording every single thing they ate. We can't do that. So the next best thing in science is to take the full bulk of the evidence and glean what we can from that, because we can't do the other.
They always want it both ways. This comment saying she's 21 years old, suggesting that she's just aging a lot. Now, people would like to believe that about me. And then some people say, I guess you're about 60 years old. They want it both ways. By the way, in my debate, I was kind of trying to get Bart to, all I said was that he has twice called me son, I think. And I think he knew where I was going. And so he wanted to get off that topic. And I'm going to show you exactly what happened. What was really going on. And why he wanted to avoid that. That's coming up soon on my channel. So subscribe to the Vegan Carboraider and click that bell icon. So when the notification pops up, you'll know I've made the video. That's going to be a good one. Short and sweet. It's one of those.
However, no.
I've been very fair. I've been very fair, Michelle.
Go on then.
I need to interject here. What you're basically saying there is, if it is not feasible, ethical, possible, or practical to gain surety, then what we should do is completely throw our discipline as scientists out the window and say, here's our best guess.
And that's what's
what
happening.
we're saying.
And that's what's happening.
And that is badly out of order.
Well, I don't think it's out of order. I think but look at it this way. If you were a medic, right? If you were, let's say, a general practitioner or a cardiologist or a cancer specialist, and you had a patient sitting in front of you with a whole series of health concerns, if you had no science whatsoever,
which most of those individuals don't.
Well, yeah. Assuming that this specialist has knowledge of the data,
in which case they would quit being a physician.
Well, then you get into a situation where no one can be treated. No one can be, if you're ill and you go to see your doctor.
Yeah, because let's look at how good medical treatment models are doing for the population, Michelle. Let's see how
they're doing very badly.
Correct.
They're doing very badly.
Right, so
and I'm doing very well. Seeing no doctors. I don't see doctors. I have instead become a health expert, my own nutritionist. So I take care of my health. So I don't need doctors, because once you get to that point, you're in some big crap. Because doctors can't make you healthy. Today's doctors. That's the medical paradigm we're in today.
Let's actually shut that down, shall we?
So what you have to do, either on a practical basis or an academic, more theoretical basis, you have to take the bulk of the evidence.
So you have to throw your discipline out the window.
No, you don't. You have to do the next best thing, right? You can't do the perfect study that you need to do to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that X is causing Y.
Right, so therefore don't say it.
Yes, but you can't do that. You have to do something. You have to do something. Right. What about smoking?
That's got nothing to do with nutrition.
Well, no.
It's completely ridiculous theology, and you know it.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You know what's going on here? This reminds me of when I debated this guy. I wanted to bring up something that makes a point. And because he doesn't know what my point is, he just doesn't want to go there. Oh, remember the time? Remember when he used as evidence, good evidence that vegans are failing. He said, just do a Google search and see all the vegans that are failing. And I said, should we do that now? Well, let's look it up on Google. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want me to do that, but I got it up in a few seconds, and we looked at some of the top comments. But he didn't want to look at his own evidence. I should mention now, yeah. I didn't say in the debate, because I didn't think I had to, but maybe I do. But typing in, ex-vegan, failed on veganism, and typing into Google, yeah, you're gonna get search results like that. And it's anecdotal. It's it's things on the internet that people have said, and people are already big liars. Some people do it habitually as a mode of operation. It's a way of getting by. And there's nowhere that people lie more than on the internet, because it's even easier. And then there's the fact that there's a lot of reasons people might be having health problems, and they're not scientists. And they're not experimenting on themselves to find out. And then there's all the propaganda. It was ridiculous when he actually said, just search the internet and you'll see.
The risk ratios on smoking are massive, huge, and enormous. They are not. You can't ignore those.
They are.
That is not true of any aspect of nutritional science. The analogy falls flat on its face before you start.
I am not using smoking as an analogy for the meat industry. You didn't let me finish.
Well, you've had plenty of time.
Right. Well, you invited me on, right? So I'm going to say my piece. So, 30 years ago, when data on smoking was amassing, the tobacco industry sought to shut down the research and so that they could carry on selling their cigarettes. The wealth of the evidence was amassing in science, as you say.
Yes. Just like with meat. The evidence against meat was amassing, and people were starting to cut back on it. And it was hurting the meat industry and the fat industry. And so along comes this new science.
The risk levels were huge, but yet the tobacco industry was ignoring it. Now, if the media had believed the tobacco industry, we would be in a situation where smoking, based on epidemiology, was considered, oh, okay. But it isn't. Right, so in terms of nutrition, the data is weaker. If you take one study, the relative risk numbers for any study on nutrition are always low, aren't they? I mean, you're looking at
zero makes no odds.
1.2, 1.6.
There is nothing in the epidemiology that we can remotely take seriously as any inference of anything whatsoever. There is none.
Right.
The whole area of nutritional science is pseudoscience that's been bastardized.
So this is why you can only take the epidemiological evidence, right, and look at it seriously if it is supported by other types of research. So, in terms of the research on meat, right, we have epidemiological evidence that shows us a little bit, but then I'm listening, I'm correcting you when you're wrong.
For years we believed, well, people believe a lot of stuff that's not true. Maybe the margin industry was jumping in to get people to eat that. But just because margin is bad for you doesn't mean cholesterol is not bad for you. So that's the logics of these people.
Michelle, it does not show anything.
Can we support, right? Can we support an assertion that a high meat diet, whether that's an all meat diet, whether that's a meat-based keto diet, can we say that they improve health? Have we got the evidence? Have we got the evidence anywhere? Now you can take any evidence.
Michelle, let me answer the question. Ask the question. The answer is all the anecdotes point in that direction. The anecdotes are being.
Yeah. I would actually agree. But Bart is making a mistake here. In scientific logic. This is, again, he's using observation. That we observe people getting healthier when they go onto diets, when they go onto low carb and carno keto type diets. But another way of saying that is their health becomes less bad when they switch to a diet that happens to be low carb, keto, carnivore. And he's drawing the connection between the two. Bad mistake. Barky. Not scientific.
Collected in a scientific fashion so that we can publish this work that has been missing so far. You know, the evidence we have is as good as the evidence that you keep pointing to, which is none.
I'm sorry, right? Anecdotal evidence, right? I could take anecdotal evidence from 100 people, right, who were my friends, right, and get them to say anything.
You could, absolutely.
So if you're collecting anecdotal evidence like the likes that Sean Baker does on meatheals.com, then I'm sorry if you're trying to say that that is publishable evidence. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, Jack.
Well, Michelle,
guys.
I have published a number of articles myself. I do know what's involved in publishing articles. You know, we'll see what's publishable and what's not publishable and where when that happens. Speculating about what's publishable and not ahead of having even seen what the work is doesn't get us anywhere. Neither to saying we have evidence when you don't.
Well, I'm not here to support veganism as a diet because veganism is not a diet.
No, it's not.
Veganism is an ethical lifestyle. That yes, it includes excluding animal products, but it also means excluding a whole range of other things from your life. And one basic tenet of veganism is ethics. And I'm strong on ethics because I'm the.
He's interrupting mid-sentence just to say a couple things, and this is very similar to what Trump does, like when he was debating 3 years ago. And also Joe Biden was doing it the other day. That just reminded me there. I don't even know what he said. But you can imagine it was some snide comment, unscientific.
As a diet.
So I'm going to see if I can hear it.
Because veganism is not a diet.
No, it's not.
Veganism is an ethical lifestyle. That yes, it includes excluding animal products, but it also means excluding a whole range of other things from your life. And one basic tenet of veganism is ethics.
I got it. Wasn't expecting that one. She said, she said, vegans are excluding a lot of things from their lives. And he said, like common sense. Yep. Here comes the unscientific Bart. The anti-vegan. That's why he's really here on the internet. Just to trash veganism. Anyway. I got a comment that popped up here. Someone said to me, "That's absurd." Well, this is weird. It's on a video from a year ago on vegan. Okay. A video from over a year ago by Vegan Foot Soldier. Someone replied to a comment I made. Let's see here. I said I say a lot of things. When your fat is under 17%, this was probably it. You don't have diabetes. For the most part, and I'm talking about type 2. I said, I'm just arguing about what we're arguing about. So, I have too many comments here. Really irritating when someone says, that's absurd. What exactly? Oh, now and then there's a new one. Another comment. Whoa, straight absurdity. I increased my fat. Here comes the anecdote. And eliminated carbs. Lowered my blood sugar. Now see, I never said that. It's the same debate over and over. I never said that won't happen. Oh, okay, I see. But I never said you could lower your blood sugar while on a high-fat diet. I didn't say that, did I? So I'm just going to write that to him. Why, I know. Okay. Back to the debate. Where were we? Who knows? Oh. Okay, play it.
And I'm strong on ethics because I'm the chair of the ethics committee in my department. So ethics is my life beyond veganism, which is why I am compelled to make videos on this channel on, yes, veganism is a religion. Not quite. It's an ethical ideology. Pollack, Busner. It is an ethical lifestyle. It's an ideology. It is not based on health.
Also,
so I'm not here to support a whole foods plant-based diet. Personally, I love the whole foods plant-based diet with some really delicious pieces of processed vegan food in there as well, because I do love my vegan cheese. It's not quite a cult, whoever you are. It's not quite a cult, but I'm very concerned that the carnivore movement is starting to look like a cult. Because
aspects of it, I agree. Aspects of some of the people talking in that space should not be talking in that space, in my humble opinion.
Because I think there are some carnivore channels who are incredibly.
Oh, I just realized something. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? That's a good one. Remember Bart's last debate with a vegan? Yep, that was like 8 months ago, and it was with meat. And something happened in that debate. It's just reminding me of this. Michelle Lowe is now going to start personally attacking. Well, she was doing this before. Attacking the carnivores on YouTube. Remember when I did that? What about that Frank guy? And Bart, he refused to acknowledge that Frank Tufano is a weirdo. He wouldn't do it. And you could go on all day criticizing them, but I didn't do that. Spent most of that segment of the debate just yelling back and forth with Bart about how silly it is to be just attacking individuals. And then he went on to attack vegan games.
Agreed.
And I think there are, let's
yes, agreed, absolutely. He should sit down and shut up.
But there are channels such as yours, and perhaps Sean Baker, because you have a science background. Like Sean is an MD. You used to be a senior lecturer in, what was it, nutrition science. So
exercise physiology, nutrition science, right. Cardiovascular physiology, sleep science.
Here we go. It doesn't negate the fact that he is crazy. There's a whole bunch of lunatics that have high-level education. There's Jordan Peterson. He just checked himself into a mental health clinic. Rubber room, maybe. Maybe. So many people. Look at Trump's cabinet.
Statistics, research methods, bunch of other stuff.
Okay. So there's probably some overlap between what you used to do and what I do, because although I'm a psychologist, I teach research methods and statistics. So, we're probably on a level in terms of the knowledge we have on those things. We're probably on a level.
On science, yeah. On physiology, no.
So
on psychology, no.
Right, yeah, there's an overlap, right? Venn diagram, right? And there's an overlap in the middle where we can talk, right? We can talk scientist to scientist.
Well, this is weird. There's a comment here that says, she is rocking like a mental patient. I can almost hear the laughter. I never noticed she does that. But people have noticed I do that. That's because I'm standing. My feet hurt. And I like to move around. Okay.
So, let's talk meat and health. Because I'm not here to support.
And Bart just sits there. He doesn't move. Gotta wonder about people. Maybe they're more subdued because of all the fat. I was thinking I've been increasing my fat lately. See if I can chill out.
Or refute the plant-based diet. I'm here to ask you, as a scientist, what is the evidence, right? Where is it and what is it that supports an all or largely meat diet?
Right.
Where's the evidence?
In terms of what we as scientists would refer to as acceptable inference, that we could say with any degree of confidence that we can predict an outcome based on a behavior change, it is absent at this point. We are working on it. Okay.
Right.
My contention is the exact same thing is true for the whole food plant-based antithetical side of the argument. The difference is we understand the evidence is not there. The other side don't seem to get that. They don't seem to understand that the evidence that they claim they have is actually not remotely acceptable. That's why I'm here. That's the thrust of my channel. That's why I'm calling myself Nutrition Science Watchdog. Like you, I'm not here to promote.
Oh, and that's another reason I'm bringing up all these negative comments about Michelle. Is a lot of them have been used on me. And people say, I have all these weird things about me and flaws. And now we're hearing them say the same stuff about Michelle. Another comment coming in here. Michelle, please stop swaying back and forth. So it's not just me. So why is Michelle doing so much better? Her channel does better than mine. I don't know why. Yeah, Bart's taken off. His channel's no good. He doesn't even have titles for his videos. He's just, I'm on live, and these fools show up. Meanwhile, I am stuck way down here. Why is that?
Any particular diet, I couldn't give a rip what somebody eats, frankly. Okay, I have no vested interest in what anybody eats.
Okay.
Own sphere of influence by writing, ridiculous stuff in papers, frankly, and
he reminds me exactly of how he was 8 months ago. He's the exact same. And his channel's new. You would think that he would be progressing in his delivery, like I have. He's irritating. So tired of him.
Expecting that people will suck that stuff up and go, oh, look, evidence, and then and then wave the paper for 3 seconds, like a certain cardiologist who shall remain nameless, and that's the end of it as far as he's concerned. Here's a peer-reviewed piece of
literature
that supports the argument that he had at the outset without actually even looking at it. Half the time he hasn't read the jolly thing before he even waves it in front of people, because if he did, he'd realize how many mistakes he was making in terms of the interpretation. What we're saying here, what I'm saying here is absolutely the scientific evidence that we need to support the taking of an all-meat diet is not yet remotely anywhere near a standard where we could say we have the science here. That's why we're saying.
Oh, yeah, the fact that Michelle brought up these carnivores like Three Ridge. And I did the same thing. And I got trashed for it. Sure. I was just having some fun. And it's so tempting. And she did the same thing. What's funny, another thing, is when I debated Bart 8 months ago, oh my God, it was 8 months to the day. February 20. And I was doing all that stuff. Michelle was in the comments trying to get the debate back on course. And now here I am, commenting on their debate.
We have some anecdotes. They are very, very interesting. We can make some comparisons between the anecdotes on the other side, which are also very, very interesting. The people who are on the side of
I just remembered, yeah, we want to get to the end here. I want to keep this short, not too long. About my debate. Now, some of you may not remember it. Well, that's hard to believe. But if you don't remember, maybe you just don't remember. Maybe this will help. I need some quick carbs while watching. It was the same thing during my debate. I was drinking the same stuff. Still no diabetes. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, now what is Bart talking about? Where's it going? Where are we going with this whole discussion?
the whole food plant-based diet spend their whole life banging peer-reviewed pieces of literature and saying, this is our evidence, and not reading the jolly thing. And expecting us not to read the jolly thing and say, there's the problem with it. There's why it's invalid. There's why it doesn't work. There's what the problem is. Here's what they've done statistically to try and fudge us. So my whole thrust of my channel is, I don't care what you eat. My opinion, based on what I have seen and my understanding of physiology, which is significant. You know, I have spent many, many hours in a cadaver lab, chopping up bodies, pulling the guts out, having a look, you know, looking at people's histories and medical records and things. I've taught anatomy and physiology for nearly 20 years. I do have an idea or two about this. I do understand mechanism in science. I do understand the discipline of science, you know.
Good.
And people want to jump up and down and say, we have evidence, we have evidence. No, you don't.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you need to stop, not you, Michelle, personally, those who are in this space saying,
that was a good one. What people don't have is proof. Everybody's got evidence. Evidence can be anything.
the all plant-based food diet, whatever the hell you want to call it, veganism, saying that that diet is the correct diet for human beings and is indicated for health, that is a mistake. The evidence for that is not remotely acceptable. It's no better than what we've got.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Our bodies, our physiology is designed for fruit. It's designed for fiber. So what would be the problem? And what are the problems we see with people who eat a lot of rice, bananas? We don't see the problems. And a comment over on the side there says, Bart knows his physiology. And that was written by a person calling himself Fungal Farts. So just got to keep laughing.
That's what I'm saying.
So where would the academic, where is nutrition science going then? Because if the wealth of evidence that is out there currently is flawed. But let me say this, let me just remind the chat that a multitude of pieces of work have been done. Some of it is epidemiological, some of it relates to, I don't know, weight loss in metabolic wards, some of it relates to randomized trials, and some of it is lower level on the anecdotal scale. Mm-hmm. Some of it is mechanistic, and we can talk mechanisms if you like later on.
Later on? Why don't we talk about something now? See, this is one reason why I wanted to pick a topic in my debate, is just go to a place that was simple. Because I think people would want to talk about, I think people would want to see a debate where people are talking about things that you see people talking about in comments and in videos, not science. People don't care about that. And who's following this? Who's not me. I admit that I am just not following this. I'm wondering if other people are. Who's following this and what is the point? Oh, that brings up something. There's something that can say it simply for me, what I think about this debate. I often say that Rush has a song for everything. And yeah, my last video I used Rush 3 times, 3 different songs. It's amazing how it fits. And here's a song that sums up what I think. Let's see.
This is the family who wanted to connect.
It's just one line. Well, I'm not going to play it all. There we go. Now let's see if we can find out the meaning.
However, it's all leading in a similar direction.
I disagree entirely. It doesn't lead in any direction.
Well, then my question is, where does the future of nutrition science go? Because you can't, if you are
He had a similar reaction there that I had. Oh, what? Are we going to get anywhere here? Yeah, I don't think there's a future. It's interesting that both of them have big problems with science, and they're both well versed in science. But I come along and I say, I've got a lot of big problems with science. And people say, I'm done with you. Fail.
In a medical practice, as I said before, if you have a patient in front of you, what do you recommend to them?
You do exactly as you are told, or you get struck off.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because what you are told is based on scientific evidence. And if
it isn't, Michelle. It's based on absolute nonsense.
I wasn't paying attention. I'll go back But I want to read this comment on the screen. And it reminds me of, let's see. This was like 5 years ago. The guy they called the Durian Rider. He'd make his funny videos where he dresses up like one of these anti-vegans. He puts on stuff, I don't know. And he says, and he pretends to be these people, and he says, what about, oh, you make this face, what about, what about this? What about that? And this comment on the screen, what about people's lives that have been saved by eating meat? What about that, huh? No. Again, there's just a lot to that. It's already been debunked.
As I said before, if you have a patient in front of you, what do you recommend to them?
You do exactly as you are told, or you get struck off.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because what you are told is based on scientific evidence. And if
it isn't, Michelle. It's based on absolute nonsense, Michelle. That's what I've just spent 10 minutes saying. It is not based on science. It is based on absolute gut rot.
So where is the science? Where is
absent in nutrition. That's what I've been saying.
Right.
Science is a discipline.
So how
the disciplines have been absolutely abandoned many, many years ago in the fraternity or sorority or fraternisorority or whatever you want to call it.
Why is that? And I just noticed that this debate is going like all his other debates. They're arguing about science. And it never went anywhere before. So, are things going to be any different this time? And Michelle Lowe really wanted to debate Bart really badly. She's been wanting it for a year. Almost a year. She was really bothered when he debated me, but wouldn't debate her. Yeah, I understand how frustrated she was there. But now she's got the debate. But is this going to go anywhere? Ah, yes. The grass seemed greener on the other side. We want what we can't have. And that's because we didn't get it.
Nutrition science. It's an absolute have. People are being misled.
So you're saying
as to the level of.
Be careful what you think you want.
Of influence that is in existence and available.
So you're saying that the entirety of nutrition science is useless. Is that what you're saying?
Almost, because.
Are you saying that?
I am saying almost useless. It has taught us something.
What has it taught us?
Well, have a look at the health statistics, Michelle, and you tell me what it's telling us as to whether the advice that we're being given is good advice or whether there might just be a problem or two with it.
Exactly. Of course there is. Of course there's a problem.
I got to pause for something that looks very substantial here. I don't know about this. I'm getting a lot of comments in my comment section, and it looks like it's from Joe Rogan. It looks like it, but I wouldn't think so. But his name is Joe Rogan Experience, and his thumbnail, his avatar looks exactly the same. What's going on there? He says, okay, first comment up here, and I mentioned Joe Rogan, I think it was just like a half hour ago in this video. Okay, he says, my podcast is better than your podcast, vegan. That doesn't really sound like him. And then someone else comes and says, Gary, Joe says your podcasts are better than yours. His podcast. Joe Rogan coming here, yet not replying to his own chat. So, oh, I can. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find out. Oh, no. Can't find out who that is. Let's see. And then he came back and said, you need to eat more elk. Elk. A lot of comments here. Weed? Yeah, that's not him. But yeah, I'm going to be making a video about Joe Rogan soon. It's going to be pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I was pretty upset at something. And wow. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Rush. Rush has one more thing to say here about this video, and maybe Joe Rogan too. And that is our musical break. Now let's get back to the action. Yeah, there was some action going on here.
Is being followed.
Of course there's a problem with it. Of course there's a problem with it.
The problem is people are dying in their millions, Michelle. Early.
They are dying. They are dying.
That are caused by...
But it has nothing to do with veganism. These people want to put all the blame on sugar when the problem is junk food in lieu of eating normally. And also, when you put in meat with that, which they do, you have a really bad combination. That's the reason when people go low carb and carnivore and keto, their health becomes less bad. It's not because of keto or low carb. It's because they got rid of the junk food.
Following the wrong advice based on pseudoscience.
Okay. All right. So.
No, Bart. There's that stupid face again. that I remember from a year ago. No one's giving advice to eat junk food. It reminds me of that Canada video. They were flipping out over Canada's new advice. It's gonna kill everybody. Yeah. Okay. So things are getting hot, or heated, and it's been almost an hour. I say the cursing should be coming soon.
In your view, then, why are people dying?
Because basically almost all, if not all,
gotta stop. Oh, you know what I'm gonna say here. You catch this. The brain fog. Wow, what's wrong with this guy? Can't even speak a full sentence. It's called thinking, people. Some of us think before we speak.
On pseudoscience.
Okay. All right. So, in your view, then, why are people dying?
Because basically almost all, if not all, of the top killers of people in Western societies are all inflammatory at their basis, at their etiology, at their causal link.
Yeah.
And the mechanism.
Yeah, right.
Every single one.
Right.
About.
They are, indeed.
The advice that we're being given will absolutely, undoubtedly, inexorably lead to chronic systemic inflammation in a large percentage.
It's only a matter of time before my health fails. I'll suddenly become inflamed all over the place while doing nothing different.
Of the gene pool.
Yes.
That is what's killing us.
Agreed.
So when you ask me, is nutrition science that we have so far of any value? Its value isn't telling us that its value is so close to zero. In fact, the advice we've been given is directly causally responsible for far more death and suffering than Hitler and Pol Pot put together 10 times over.
Okay. Okay. Right. So I can go with that. So, what would you recommend as a scientist? Yep. Right, put yourself in the position. Right, imagine. Let's do a little story time. Imagine that you are in charge of the recommendations that are given to the public, that the media, are going to put forward, that medics are going to believe. Imagine that you are in charge.
Right.
What would you recommend?
First of all, I would recommend that all physicians are trained and mandated to come up to competence on the scientific method and statistical procedure to the level where they can all put their hand on their heart and say, my Hippocratic oath requires me not to comment to my patients or anybody else's patients about nutrition.
Okay, so...
Because if we do, we get it wrong and we kill people.
Okay.
Because that's what they do. They get it wrong. They say, avoid saturated fat, avoid cholesterol, avoid red meat, eat lots and lots of healthy whole grains and lots of fiber-filled poison.
I'm back. No, Bart. Well, I agree that it's a problem when doctors play nutritionist and dietitian. That advice right there that you just stated does not kill people. You do not need to eat cholesterol. See my video. When people, I forget what the title was. Oh, I think I misspoke. You don't need to eat cholesterol. Your body makes it makes the right amount. Eating it is kind of stupid. That's like drinking blood. to increase your blood supply. I thought that was a good. I think that is a good simile, metaphor. But then I remembered that there's people who do that.
Garbage that will inflame us and kill us.
But let's see what he said here. I want to make sure I got this.
Get it wrong. They say avoid saturated fat, avoid cholesterol, avoid red meat, eat lots and lots of healthy whole grains and lots of fiber-filled poisonous garbage that will inflame us and kill us.
Lectins do not kill people. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, right here.
So you're saying then that no one, the public, cannot be informed in any way on nutrition?
No, physicians are not trained in nutrition.
Okay.
And in fact, nutritionists are not trained in nutrition either.
All right. So
nutritionists are indoctrinated into a false view of nutrition based on the pseudoscience that leads to people dying.
Well, he's really generalizing, and more than that, the lumping of all nutritionists together is really strange that he's doing that, because nutritionists have all sorts of differing viewpoints, to the point of actually being opposite. So, but there are some nutritionists out there that just give the basic nutrition, like the RDAs. You should, yes, get around what the RDAs say, except the RDAs aren't exactly scientific. You have to interpret them, right? And I know how to do that. Very strange. Okay.
They should actually, if I'm in charge, not only do doctors shut up about nutrition for now and forever, so do nutritionists. By which I mean...
Well, I think I remember in my debate, he was basically saying that the field of nutrition is junk, that you don't need to be concerned with that if you just eat like a carnivore. And take some vitamin C so you don't end up with scurvy and in the hospital like vegetable police did at the beginning of this year. First day of the year, remember? That's how we all kicked off this year. With vegetable police almost died.
Registered dietitians, in fact. That organization gets shut down. Everyone that's an RD gets put out of business because they are also mandated to give the wrong advice. While we're at it, we shut down the Heart Foundation, the Diabetics Association, and all of those ones as well. They all get shut down because they are all guilty of genocide.
Okay, right. So you're still in charge. You're still in charge, right? So we've shut down all health organisations. We've told medics that they'll get struck off if they give any form of comment on nutrition.
Yep.
So then the people are going.
So finally, the video has become interesting and followable. This is going well now.
Going to run riot, aren't they? Because the public love processed food. They're going to go to McDonald's, they're going to go to Pizza Hut, they're going to go to Burger King, they're going to have their KFC 5 times a night, right? That's what they're going to do. Because this
Which
food,
organisation is promoting that?
well, if
Oh, he's made a good point. Right, just like I was saying, no organization is recommending junk food or refined food. So what's the problem? It's getting dark. There's some clouds coming in. And now he's using that argument. Right, no one's recommending that. Yeah, she shouldn't have went there. But who knows what her point is coming up. Let's see how she handles this.
you left the people to, they have absolutely no advice.
Oh yeah, one point is that people are going to go and do the worst things that's easy to do, and the stuff that tastes the best. A lot of vegans eat a junky vegan diet. So
nutrition from anywhere.
I didn't say
right,
from
under law. So
I didn't say from anywhere. If I'm in charge,
okay.
if I'm in charge, the advice is coming from me.
Oh, great. Right. So what are you going to tell the public?
I'm going to tell them, number one, I don't give a rip what you eat. I have no vested interest in what you eat. I don't care.
Right.
Number two, if you ask the question, let me answer it, Michelle.
Of course, yeah, sorry.
Number two, I'm going to tell them that there is absolutely no acceptable inference anywhere in the literature that they need to consume any amount of fiber at all. The same is true of carbohydrate.
Right.
There is clear inference that a diet that is lacking in whole protein and fat-soluble, bioavailable minerals and vitamins of the kind you find in animal products, if you keep those things out of your diet, if you don't supplement those things effectively, you will run into a problem sooner or later. There is clear evidence of that.
Is there?
I missed this. Gotta hear this. Gotta hear this. It sounds like some BS I missed.
Bioavailable minerals and vitamins of the kind you find in animal products, if you keep those things out of your diet, if you don't supplement those things effectively.
What things? He was kind of vague. Vague, like a politician.
You will run into a problem sooner or later. There is clear evidence of that.
Is there?
Oh, is he really suggesting that things like vitamin A, it's just not bioavailable in plant foods? Body just can't absorb it, really. There's some nuts who say that. Let's see if Bart is one of them.
Yes, there is, absolutely.
Okay, show me the evidence then. Show me the evidence.
I can flick you through any number of publications that have been done on those kind of things. You know,
Right.
we can have a citation war if you like, given that, you know, a lot of the work, as you say, is flawed.
Speaking of citations, I have just noticed through observation, I know, when you look at paleo books, low carb books, there's not many citations in those books. Then you look at certain vegan books, and you see, I've seen a lot of citations in some books.
The disciplines have not been there because you can't actually do good science with human beings who are free to live freely. If you don't control every single degree of freedom, then someone can come to your study and say, no good. What I'm saying is,
Exactly.
in my professional opinion, based on my very, very significant understanding of the physiology and the science, my advice is going to be, there is no evidence whatsoever that you need any fiber at all. There is no evidence that you need any amount of vitamin C or anything like what we're told we need.
Okay.
There's no evidence that you need any carbohydrates in your diet whatsoever.
Right.
Plant foods are not the staple. They are not the basis of the human physiological design. They are a subsistence food that we are able to survive on. It's been a survival technique. It is not the basis of human nutrition. It is a deficient diet. It will cause problems if such problems are not countermined in some other way, which most people don't have the knowledge to do effectively anyway. I'm going to tell them that there is absolutely no acceptable inference that eating meat or saturated fat or cholesterol.
So he's playing around here. First, he suggested that this type of vegan eating, low fat, high carb, will kill you. But now, he's just saying there's no evidence you need carbohydrates and high vitamin C. See, he's playing around with the words. Yeah. It's also the same kind of manipulation we see from other anti-vegans. Sure, you don't need much vitamin C. And a lot of people in the world don't get much vitamin C. A lot of people get the flu. A lot of people are getting cancer. A lot of people get colds. A lot. I don't. I don't get anything with zero cholesterol in my diet.
Cholesterol has any association, even let alone causality, with any kind of health problem. And actually, it looks like the best possible thing that we could really do in terms of, you know, once there is sufficient anecdotal stuff that we can start doing the science, then there will be some evidence to say, well, look, here is an inference that's
right.
Probably do just fine on an all-meat diet.
Right. So you're going to recommend, because you're in charge, you're going to recommend.
All right. This is how he gets out of this. I was thinking. So we're now getting to the conclusion where Michelle's going to pin him down and have him say, what? I tried to do this, I think. What? Well, I think I did. What would you recommend so we can simplify this debate to know where he's at? But he won't do that. He won't do that. Well, that's not for a scientist. My job is to just put out the science and let people realize how to eat.
You're in charge.
I'm commenting on what the science tells us.
Okay, so you're not going to recommend anything,
Correct.
but you are going to direct the public into there's no evidence for fiber and
Correct.
carbs. There's no evidence for
that's really what's the word? Dangerous and this is what's already being done to trick people into believing something that's not true. Saying that you don't need fiber, people would be led to believe the dangerous belief that you shouldn't eat fiber and that go without it. Don't worry about eating fiber. When fiber happens to be in the food we're supposed to eat, and the foods that don't have fiber in it are things we weren't meant to eat. Colon cancer, people. What do you think causes colon cancer? Polyps.
ants.
Correct.
Cholesterol buildup. Oh, we don't want to go there.
But there is evidence. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
There is evidence that animal-based protein and fat and foods high in cholesterol and fat-soluble vitamins only available from animal foods, such as retinol and so on. That's what you're going to suggest. So it's not a recommend, but it's a suggestion. So
it's a comment on what the science is able to inform us on and what it is not able to inform us on.
Another comment on the screen. It's typical craziness. For some reason, these people, they say, "Oh, and vegetable, please." Oh my God, I just eat one meal. Once I've had this one meat meal, I'm set for the day. Why is that? Are they really suggesting that they need much less calories? And the people think that I need to eat all day. Now it's all day and night. No. Actually, a lot of animals graze a lot of the time, like cows. You see them, and horses eating a lot. I don't know why. Why do they eat so much? I eat for like 2 hours in a day. Yeah, that's really all it takes.
Okay, so you're going to tell that to the public. Now, the public then are going to say, all right then, based on what King Bart says, we are going to eat lots of meat and eggs and animal product. Well, you're in charge. What would you prefer? Emperor, king, president?
I would prefer that people had enough gumption to actually.
Well, who's in charge of a militia? Because that's what he's calling his group.
Go and read the literature for themselves and train themselves and understand what's going on and think. Unfortunately, you know, let's be honest, Michelle, you and I both know, both of us are at the high end of the bell-shaped curve in terms of our intelligence. Let's face it, if your IQ is as low as 100, then half the people in the world are nominally less intelligent than you are. That's frightening. You know, people do need some form of guidance, and in my opinion, the form of guidance they need is accurate information about what the science is able to inform us on and what it is not. And that's not what we've been getting for the last 100 years.
That's fantastic. So you're going to change it.
If someone asked Bart right here what he thinks my IQ is, that guy, that Gary Carboraider, he would say it was low. So Bart, I'd like to challenge you to an IQ test.
Everything, right? So you're going to guide, right? You use the word guide, so I'll use the word guide. You're going to guide the public towards animal-based foods. Yes?
No, I'm not.
So what are you going to guide them towards?
Again,
nothing. Nothing. For some reason, he plays this. I maybe I can see that he doesn't want to be some guy, another guy promoting a certain diet, because maybe he can be, maybe people can discredit him as some diet guru. Wants to just remain scientific. But we all know we know what he thinks is the right diet.
Well, I am going to say to people, here is what the evidence that is acceptable remotely suggests to us. Here is what we are yet to understand. Here is what we will actually never be able to comment on with authority. And as such, we will refrain from doing so because we are disciplined scientists. So it is not okay to say we have inference for something that we don't.
Exactly. So there's no evidence supporting an animal-based diet. You've said yourself...
Or a plant-based one.
Exactly.
Wow. He just admitted something there. There's no evidence for it, but... But look at all these facts and half-truths. They're all half-truths if you don't put them together with other things. And that's the reason I make videos. Because I put things together for people. This is his button.
Exactly.
There is no nutritional science. That's what I've been saying all along. It's a have.
Fantastic.
You have had boys and girls.
You have completely read my mind. So there is no evidence to support a meat-based diet. You have anecdotes. Now, correct. I would like to see, right? I would like to see the mechanistic evidence that you say you've got.
For what, sorry?
For anything that you're supporting. Where
I think she's going for the pin. Right here. You don't want to wait too long. He might just rage quit early. Yeah, that was a hard thing for me to calculate in my debate. So she's just putting him on the spot here. And you don't see him jumping in to respond.
Where is it?
When have I claimed to have mechanistic evidence of anything?
Well, you talk about mechanisms.
The reason I talk about mechanisms, Michelle, is to point to the fact that the available so-called science is not able to inform us mechanistically because the practicalities, finances, and ethics will not ever allow us to get that data.
Of course.
So where is nutrition science going? If it had any kind of self-discipline, which it clearly does not.
It's not going anywhere, like I said.
Right.
It would sit down and shut up.
Okay.
And say, we are done here in terms of what we can prove. Looks like Michelle might just have tripped out there. It's all right, there is a protocol. She'll come back in as soon as she can.
Hello.
There's some technical problems on his side. Yeah. But it appears. Oh man. It appears that Bart has again been debunked here as a fool who's playing around. And the same thing happened when I debated him. I let him debunk himself by the way he is acting here. He's always done this. This is why I've just forgot about him. Because you don't need to do any more. So I don't know why Michelle wants to debate him. So I'm going to skim through the rest here to the point where Bart Kay, from what I hear, he rage quits again. He's done this every time. I look forward to seeing this. We haven't seen it since my video. And I was looking forward to seeing his next debate after mine, and it took a while. Same old crap. See? So I could stay in here and say, I told you. And it wasn't all me.
In the meantime, I guess we'll talk amongst ourselves a bit and see, there she is. She's back.
I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere.
Okay, you did on my end. So
okay.
Let's go back to the more, there we go. That's a better screen to be looking at. I don't need any evidence.
Right.
I'm not claiming.
Well,
I'm not claiming any case. What I'm saying is.
Burden of proof? Yeah, I made a video. I'll pull up that thumbnail. I want to show you that to you while I'm playing this here.
The evidence that would be required to support the assertions that are flying around there from both sides is not there.
Exactly. So you've no evidence.
And neither
you
of
have no evidence. I'm not here to.
Nobody has any. So why you keep? You have. Nobody has any evidence.
Fantastic.
That includes me.
So you have no evidence. I have no evidence. I don't need evidence because I'm an ethical vegan. So as long as it doesn't involve animal killing, I'm good with it, right?
Right. So can we talk about how many animals die as a result of your plate?
Crop deaths? Crop deaths, though. That's what you're going to say, isn't it?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm asking you the question.
All right. Well, crop deaths. I've talked extensively about crop deaths.
Anyway, so
my
animals die as a result of cropping.
Some animals die, yes.
Oh, okay, so you're not an ethical vegan then?
Some animals die.
Many
Animals die as a result.
Nope. See, this is where vegans. Vegans often get this argument wrong. I made a video like 3 years ago or so called Vegans' Worst Argument that they keep making. Animals dying is not an ethical issue. They keep using this argument. Vegans use it, and then anti-vegans use it against us. But the issue is all animals die, no matter what. So death is not the issue. I keep telling people the problem with factory farms and eating animals is not that the animals die. It is that they suffer and they are abused continually. They have to exist in an abusive environment.
Of farming.
Do you eat lettuce?
Think about.
Here we go.
Do you eat avocado?
Now this this is what I pointed out in my video. Vegans say that you're killing animals, and then people easily turn that around on them and destroy that argument. And this is exactly what we're seeing right here. Bart is doing it right here, right now. This is why that argument's no good.
I have.
Do you eat honey?
I do not eat honey. No, I
don't
eat honey.
Avocado?
I eat avocados in winter.
Okay, how are avocados?
Yes, I know about the pollination. I do know about.
That's not vegan either, is it? So you're actually not
Thank you.
vegan, are you, Michelle?
Right.
You just want to claim to be an ethical vegan. You're actually not.
When vegans.
There you go. His argument's flawed because he's using vegans' flawed argument. That we're preventing deaths. No, we're not. We're preventing suffering. We're minimizing it.
Talk about ethics. When vegans talk about ethics,
so we're going to cherry pick
acknowledge.
Okay,
listen, they acknowledge that there are problems with farming. There are problems with harvesting. Animals die as a result of harvesting. But we claim to do the least harm possible. That's why we do not.
That's easily true. And notice how he's getting hostile here and wants to stop her from talking. And this emotion that he wants to try to stop that and refute it. And the emotion is from the fact that she has a point. He's getting trapped. He's feeling trapped. Exactly how he felt when I debated him. Because he knew I was trapping him, but I was doing it in a subtle way. I remained calm the whole time when he just started getting more hostile and started cursing.
We do not advocate for any form of animal consumption, because not only do the animals that are being eaten get slaughtered, you have the knock-on effect of all the animals that have died as a result of the food production for those animals, the pest control on the farms and the installations that are farming those people.
The cows come home here, Michelle. The point
of course we can, and I'm not here.
Yeah, she just made a point that destroys all the anti-vegan argument around this. It's really simple. How can Bart sit there and make that claim?
I'm not here to talk about ethics.
Well, let's move on then, because I don't want to go there either. It's just nonsense.
I am saying that I'm not here.
Lettuce? Yes.
I'm not here.
Do you eat avocado? Yes. Okay, you're not.
Here we go. He's just flipping out now. He is crazy. He's a major ass. I was just thinking of saying something else and wondering if I should resist. Yeah. But now that we got some rage happening here, let's cut to the end.
Discussion.
I'm not here to talk about ethics.
Good.
Trans fats. That's not my place. I might say, yes, I've got an opinion.
Finished here, Michelle. You've had plenty of chance to say your.
Yeah, he said the same thing to me. He started getting just real hostile and asinine. As if I and her were just doing something really terrible to him. This is good to see that this is going so similar to my debate. I'm getting more redemption here. By the way, see my series on my redemption, my debate, got a playlist. Debates, Bart Kay, and my reviews.
But I've been very, very fair. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
which is baloney.
You're saying these people are talking nonsense. These people are talking nonsense. I've watched many of your videos. I haven't seen you make a single cogent, reasonable, mechanistic, scientific argument in my entire time watching your channel. None. Okay. And you want to come on here and say who's.
She looks kind of stunned. There's just nothing you can do with this guy. What? Oh, near the end of my debate, I felt bad. He made me feel kind of degraded. And at the same time, he was degrading himself. And I didn't say anything.
Misguided, and I'm railing against the misinformation. You are not qualified.
And that was because I'm mature.
To speak in this area at all. It is relevant, Michelle, because you don't understand the mechanisms.
Tell me the mechanisms then.
Of what? What particular thing do you want to discuss the mechanism of?
Right. You're saying you've got no evidence whatsoever to support a meat-based diet. You've said that multiple times.
With mechanisms of various things.
Because if you're saying you've got no evidence for a meat-based diet, what mechanistic studies do you believe are worth talking about?
Well, it really, really depends on what the question is, Michelle, as to what the appropriate answer to that question might be.
The question is meat.
The question is meat. That's a description of a food.
The question is, as I've said multiple times, The question is, what evidence do you have to support a meat-based diet?
Did you catch that? Here's the comments. Oh. There was a comment that came up. This is classic stuff. So here's a comment that got on the screen that supports Michelle, not Bart. And
as I've said multiple times, the question...
Notice he's looking down, and I think he's controlling the comments coming in. And then, so that doesn't stay up long. And then this comes in. Frito. And it says, "You're being stupid, Bart." Not sure how this works, but it looks like he put those both on by mistake. And look, he got this off really quick. Watch.
Is, what evidence do you have
looked over
to support?
See, he's switching comments. Got that off. Okay, we got to get to the end. But I may make more videos about this. This is great stuff. But I don't want my video being so long. So it's time for the end. Here's someone blaming Michelle for getting on Bart's nerves. Bart flipping out. No. Doesn't work that
having
way.
Heart disease.
How do you explain the fact that some cholesterol and low cholesterol end up having?
Here it is.
Plus all the anecdotes I've seen.
But based on
I don't give a shit whether you're interested in anecdotes or not, Michelle, frankly.
Based on what?
There's some cursing. Finally got that.
Based on what?
Oh,
so
God.
You've got evidence.
Well, Michelle clearly hasn't done her research at all in terms of all the
where's your evidence? Where is your evidence? Where is your evidence?
Ah, you're a stuck record, Michelle. You really are absolutely
Here we go.
mired in your own shit, aren't you? You're up to your neck in your own excrement.
This reminds me of the end of my debate, where he just lost all decorum and just started insulting me. Yeah, that was pretty good.
You can't see the forest for the trees. We're going in circles. We have covered this.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've covered that. We've thrown out epidemiology. We've thrown out all the medical science. We've thrown out nutrition science. We are left with what we can glean from your knowledge.
Right.
So show me the evidence that you base that knowledge upon. Show me the evidence.
It is contained in full in more than 300 videos on my channel. If you care to go and have a look, it's all there with explanations. You don't need to
man. The reason I had a debate with him is because so he could present that evidence. We don't want to go to his website and pay money.
Wheel, Michelle, the wheel is round, the wheel works. Start at the beginning, about August the 1st last year was when I posted my first video or so. Start at the beginning and finish it.
Skipping this crap.
People who eat a lot of plants.
Here's someone claiming Michelle has a low IQ. Waste of time watching this train wreck. Ooh, isn't that what someone called my debate just a couple hours ago? And here's someone who has much more knowledge about this stuff. And people are seeing the same thing. They're seeing the same thing.
subject themselves to a lot of toxins, anti-nutrients.
Yep. Yeah, and that doesn't kill you though. Toxins. There's toxins in meat. Naturally, even. Wild meat.
Poisons, naturally occurring pesticides, inflammatory things like fiber, and
Fiber's inflammatory.
Yeah. That's pretty weird. Fiber's killing people. It's bad for you.
Right.
And indeed, things like, depending on the makeup of that plant matter, possibly problems with glucose dysregulation.
Okay.
And insulin dysregulation.
Okay.
No.
So
remove the plants, those problems can be ameliorated.
See, he took a half truth at best and then gave it a spin. You won't have those problems if you just eliminate plant foods, and then everything is fine. That is crazy, man. We shouldn't even give this guy any attention. We shouldn't give him any respect of even talking about him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every individual I have encountered professionally over the last 15 months, socially, in terms of the social networks that I hear online, in terms of people that follow my channel, in terms of that.
So you have nothing except for what people tell you.
What have you got?
Oh,
I don't need anything because I'm here.
Neither do I, love. That's
this is crazy.
I'm saying I don't need.
But you are taking people's money, Bart.
I'm taking their money to give them an opinion that they are paying for, because they understand, unlike you, Michelle, that I have one or two clues in this area.
You haven't shown anybody any convincing evidence whatsoever.
I don't need to show
your channel is no better.
Except the lack of evidence being shown by others who take an antithetical position to mine. I don't have to prove my case. All I have to do is disprove somebody else's.
I see. So all you're going to try to do then on your channel is discredit anybody who disagrees with you.
No, discredit anybody who makes a statement that's not supportable as per the science.
Except for
discredit anybody who loses their discipline and steps outside of the way they should be talking about what the science tells them.
Except for you've said an hour ago that the science hasn't told us anything.
Correct. So anyone that comes along,
try that, Bart. Try doing that, Bart.
That's my job here.
Exactly. You are misleading people. You are misleading people.
I'm not misleading anybody.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Your channel is as bad as Frank Tufano's.
No, it's not. That's ridiculous, Michelle. That's absolutely ridiculous. I will not have
that. Here we go.
Ridiculous.
You are the nutrition science version of Frank Tufano.
Don't be so ridiculous,
have got
Michelle.
Absolutely nothing.
Cut the cameras.
Bye, Michelle. See you later.
You have a
Shame about that. Sorry we couldn't stick around for questions. I'm not having that. Absolutely ridiculous.
I got it. Wow, that was amazing. My first prediction of where he was going to cut her off was wrong, but I was getting really close, and then I was going, cut her off. 2 seconds later, he does it. Just cut her off. I think that's even a first. He didn't even say, this is over, like he did with me. He says, okay, let's quit. This is just ridiculous. But we had an ending. No cutting off here. Wow, that's amazing. You just saw that live. Me live here, predicting that he was going to cut her off any second.
Ridiculous behavior there, as you'd expect. Basically, I've destroyed Michelle Lowe.
Let's see, what did he say here?
Basically, I've destroyed Michelle Lowe on every. Not have that.
You are.
Hi, Michelle. Basically, I've destroyed Michelle Lowe on every single one of her ridiculous. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Basically,
he did say.
I've destroyed Michelle Lowe on every.
I keep missing what he's saying here, but he did say goodbye. So, he's got that.
Mired and up to her own neck in her own shit with you have no evidence for this, that, and the other thing. Just it's like talking to an absolute brick wall. I was like, basically, I've destroyed. Bye, Michelle. See you later.
You have a...
Bye. Oh, shame about that. Sorry we couldn't stick around for questions. I'm not having that. Absolutely ridiculous behavior there, as you'd expect. Basically, I've destroyed Michelle Lowe on every single one.
So she did act up, yes, but he only sees it in other people. He doesn't see that he's doing it, and he's bringing it on because that's how sociopathic personality works. They don't see themselves as that they could even do anything wrong. Everything they do is right because it's what they're doing.
Of her ridiculous facile arguments, she's got absolutely nothing but to be absolutely mired and up to her own neck in her own shit with you have no evidence for this, that, and the other thing. Just it's like talking to an absolute brick wall, as I expected it might be. Real shame about Michelle's completely unacceptable behavior. She basically
it's making me think of Trump now.
clearly is unable to conduct herself in a scientific.
How Trump goes just way overboard and putting people down, and he's describing himself.
Fashion. She doesn't want to have a discussion with someone who is able to deal with her shit. That's the way it ends. But if there are more questions for me, then I'll stick around for a few minutes and allow such questions.
I won't be sticking around today. That'll do it for now. But I'll watch this later. Maybe make another video on it. Closing that fool. Ooh, what do we got here? Tab crash. I hope I'm still on the air. Oh man, I forgot to bring this back. Oh, that's a shame. There we are. Yep, these things happen, people. Sorry about that. Oh. Yeah, a bunch of stuff was missed. Yeah. This disappoints me more than you guys. I was doing some stuff. It's all just audio. Okay, here, anyway, here's the burden of proof, my video. So one question to wrap up the video. What the heck? Okay. The question is, who won? And how was this different from his last debate, which was with me? People really trashed me. But now we got someone here who has more education in these things. So how was it better? The ending was very similar. And yeah, he said the same thing to Michelle that he said to me. Utter waste. Nonsense. So I'm going to read the comments now, and then we will wrap things up. Let's see what we got here. He's a fake. To the moon, Alice. To the moon, indeed. Statistics, not vegetables, is the key to health. That's a good one. Yeah. See, plants, be very afraid. Bart is... You are in charge of giving him the name Militia. Yep. Bart getting owned in this debate like he did in your debate with him. So were all those people who were trashing me, were they not correct? Bart won all his debates, and Bart thinks so too. And all his debates. Yeah, all his people do too. All right, that's it for the comments. That's the end. So, yep. Remember to give a thumbs up. What else can be said about this? Nothing. You might want to share this video. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see anything like this anywhere else. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening, morning, wherever you are on the flat earth. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.